Taking a sensible approach to buying at a time where seasonally we see more property coming to the market, like we are at the moment, is going to help you not squander a good time to buy a home this year. And we're seeing two types of buyers emerging in the market at the moment. The first, recognise that there's more available, although they may need to spend at the upper end of their budget in order to buy it. However, there is more choice for them than there would have been if they were looking a couple of months ago. The second are people trying to pull off the perfect buy. And very rarely does that work out. And one way that we are seeing that manifest itself is people who are taking their budget and deducting any renovation costs involved, and they're going to take that off the offer that they give the agent, which they otherwise should have given. So, for example, if I have $1.5 million as a budget and I find a home listed at that price, however, I see $100,000 in renovations could be made, I'm then going to offer 1.4 because that's what the home is worth to me. And this logic relies heavily on the assumption that the seller would consider the buyer's budget constraints rather than the actual value of the property. And in layman's terms, that's a bit like trying to force a square peg through a circle hole. It just doesn't work. And I've never seen it in 6 years' work in the time I've been in real estate. So one thing that I could suggest is looking at ways that this theory could become unstuck. And there's two that I can think of. The first is, if someone has the same calculations of renovations and the same logic as yourself, but they have $1.6 million as a budget, consider that they still could pip you at the post and take the keys for that property. The second person who could outbid you is the person who does their research and due diligence around what prices are, and if they see that the evidence supports that price that the agent is giving them, they're going to also pay what it takes in order to buy the property. So one thing that I would suggest this kind of person considers, if they are the second, is looking at due diligence around prices. And if you do see that there are sales to support it, you're better to buy that property for its underlying fundamentals and consider your time frame of how long it will take to do those renovations. It may be a couple of years, but if the home's perfectly livable, just buy it. The second would be looking at a better value for money area than that one, where you may be able to do those renovations in a shorter period of time because the purchase price would be lower and you'd be a lot less overwhelmed with the idea of a renovation project. Guys, I hope that this helps, and happy house buying this weekend.